Just want to talk about the whole ADV crew. Let's talk about them for a minute. Number one, Sapenza and Laowa 86, the consultant, the analyst, the expert, whatever you want to call them, they're not Chinese political dissidents. They're not freedom fighters. They're guys who are trying to make money. That's who they are. And when you live in someone else's country, it's not really very polite to attack their government. They may believe that 1/5 of humanity is governed by a very bad government. That's what they believe. But they're not freedom fighters. They're not dissidents. They're just foreigners who don't like the government of a country. Now, what's my opinion about the government? I see a lot of positive things. I see the bridges. I use the bridges. I see the highways. I see the roads. I see washing machines being delivered. I see people driving new cars. I see people wearing nice clothes. And the way that another country runs their country is not up to me. I think the American practice of judges being elected and sheriffs being elected, I find it to be a little bit insane, because you get activist judges that are trying to show how strong they are with certain offences. You get activist police officers who are trying to show that they can enforce the law. I think it's a bad idea. I don't agree with it. I agree with Australia's system of government. And, Australia has a very different system of government to the United States. Now, when I was a visitor in the United States, I didn't criticise the United States system of government. I was just sort of amazed at what people were doing, and I thought, well, this is really cool. Since I've returned from America, I haven't criticised the American government and sort of said, well, I don't agree with everybody being a politician, and I think it's bad for the culture, and I don't agree with this policy, and I don't agree with that policy. Why would I do that? What business is it of mine? Now, I have a question for Sapenza and Laowa 86. Have you ever transferred money to Louis Hand, Prime in China, Zach P? We know the answer to that question. You have. And proof is coming. Proof is coming. Amazingly, proof has been discovered. Proof is coming. So they're your employees. These guys are not interested in controlling physical space. They're interested in controlling the online space. They see the Chinese online space or the YouTube space about China as being something that they control. As Winston Churchill once famously said, the empires of the future will be the empires of the mind. And their empire is the empire of China and how Western people or international audiences perceive China. That is their core business. And they will say anything to keep their business growing, to keep their business improving. Now, I have another question for those guys. What have they ever done to help anyone besides themselves? Have they built low-income housing? Have they assisted people who are poor? Have they assisted people in poverty? Because they criticize everybody else for what they do. They criticize Guelo 60 for his charity. Now, who knows about the accounting practices of Guelo 60? He's just a normal guy. He's just a guy who goes out and buys a few blankets, buys a few books, and gives them to some children. There's another guy in Qingdao. I don't think he'll mind being mentioned, but he's just a really nice guy. And he goes and he organizes to supply books to schools, and he loves China too. He loves the Chinese people. He doesn't make a song and dance about it, I guess the way that I do, which is making videos and stuff, but he just goes and does it. There's people all over China, foreigners all over China, who do those sorts of things. Has Sapenza and Laowa 86 ever done anything like that? Have they? Have they ever bought someone a washing machine so they don't have to wash all their clothes with their hands? Have they ever built a toilet in a rural village? Have they ever done anything like that? Because those are the sorts of things that the government is doing that they hate so much. Have they ever built a bridge? Have they ever done anything in their entire life except try to make money as political agitators. They're not activists, they're agitators. They're people who seek to divide and to turn people on one another. Look at Lewis Hand, sitting over there in Taiwan, making videos, trying to divide the entire China YouTube community between people who support him and people who support other people. It's just divide and rule, divide and conquer. Lewis Hand is an employee of Sapenza and Lao 86. That's all he is. And he uses his talents and his energy to make videos that show other people as idiots or losers or shills, as he calls them. That's the big word for somebody who appears on state media. Sapenza himself has been a part of state media before. Lao 86 has been a part of state media before. And the arrogance of these guys to think that they can control the online space and grow their channels even while they're outside of China is absolutely astounding. Like, what these guys really are is vigilante diplomats. They're not diplomats, they're like rogue vigilante diplomats. They have opinions about international affairs, they have opinions about international events, they share those opinions, they share those views, they don't have the backing of any government, and it really does beg the question, who is their ultimate master? Who do they get money from? They get money from YouTube, they get money from super chats, but is there someone else? Is there some other group that is supplying them with funds that explains their agenda of just being fanatically opposed to the government of a country? Is there some group that's funding them? Guess what? Proof is coming. Proof is on its way. I won't be the one to create that content because there's other people who have intimate and direct knowledge of those matters. But I will be watching closely, and I encourage anyone watching this video to watch closely because the truth is coming. The truth is coming. And for me personally, I am an independent person in this country. I am an independent person. I look at the country with impartial eyes. I'm not looking to denigrate it, and I'm not looking to celebrate it, commemorate it, applaud it, laud it, whatever. I'm looking at it impartially, and I'm saying things are getting better. Things are getting better and better. It's a fairly well-run place, and I certainly, just as Jesus said, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Was Jesus Christ a shill because he was not a political activist? Was he a shill because he wasn't a political agitator? Those guys seek to put everybody into this corner where they have to choose between being a political agitator and being a shill. And I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to tell the entire world right now, I'm not a political agitator, I am a perfect guest, and I'm also not a shill. And anybody who wants to call me a shill is insulting and defaming me. And even though, practically speaking, there's not a lot of legal recourse, especially when people have very little or no assets to seek to, get some damages or whatever, people such as Lewis Hand, even though it's not really possible, the fact of the matter is that people who are calling people shills, they are defaming them. And contrary to what Prime China said, you don't have to be famous to be defamed. You don't have to be anybody to be defamed. It's a legal terminology. Just because it rhymes with fame, it doesn't have any connection to fame itself. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say pretty much. And Lao 86 and Sapenza, the truth is coming, the facts are coming, and your employees who make videos for you and who make this content for you to make everybody else feel like a loser, your empire, your online empire is going to crumble. People are going to lose respect for you. Sapenza never went to a university or anything. He's just like a guy who lived in China for a while, made some cool videos, but then he basically just, I don't know, went to war against the whole country in the online space. a Dutch guy, and then you've got a Dutch South African, and then you've got Lau 86, who is a American guy, suburban guy who studied computers at university, lived in China for a few years, and then left. And these guys are vigilante diplomats, vigilante intellectuals, and they're seeking to profit from criticizing everything and everyone. And it's getting to the point now where it's coming to the end of the road for those guys. They're going to lose a lot of their empire because people can see the truth, and the truth is coming.